You wake up, pour yourself a tall glass of 100% pure fruit juice, and use agave syrup in your oatmeal, thinking you are making the healthiest choices possible. But what if I told you that these exact, healthy, sugars are forcing your liver to accumulate fat just as fast as if you were drinking beer? Today, we are exposing. This video is strictly for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice or therapy. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, now called MASLD, is a serious metabolic condition. The information here is to help you support your liver function and manage early-stage fat accumulation, not to cure permanent damage like cirrhosis. Always consult your gastroenterologist or physician. And if you are sitting there thinking, but I don't drink alcohol, I don't eat greasy food, how could I possibly have a fatty liver? I want you to know something very important. You are not alone, and you are not doing anything wrong by accident. A lot of people have been taught to fear fat, when the real problem is often hidden in plain sight. Liquid sugar. This is the big paradigm shift. For years, people were told that dietary fat was the enemy. But in early-stage fatty liver, what often overloads the system is not a spoonful of olive oil or a healthy meal with fat. It is repeated exposure to sugar in liquid form, especially fruit juice, sweetened drinks, and concentrated sweeteners that reach the liver very quickly. Now, let me be very clear. This is not about blaming you. This is about understanding biology. If your morning routine includes fruit juice, agave, or other concentrated sugars, your liver may be getting a much heavier metabolic load than you realize. And when that load becomes chronic, the liver can start storing energy as fat. That is why so many people feel shocked when they hear the words, fatty liver. They assumed liver damage only belonged to people who drank alcohol. But metabolic fatty liver is different. It is commonly tied to insulin resistance, excess sugar exposure, and the liver being overwhelmed by fuel it cannot safely store or use. So before we go any deeper, I want you to keep one idea in mind. Early fatty liver is a warning sign, not a life sentence. If we understand what is burdening the liver, we can begin to support liver function, reduce liver fat, and protect the cells that still have a chance to recover. And that begins with seeing the problem clearly. Now let's talk about the fructose trap, because this is where the liver story becomes impossible to ignore. Glucose and fructose are both sugars, but the body handles them differently. Glucose can be used by many cells for energy. Fructose, by contrast, is processed largely in the liver, which means a big dose of fructose can place a very concentrated workload on hepatocytes. That is important because the liver is not designed to receive a flood of sugar in liquid form all at once. When fructose arrives slowly inside whole fruit, the body can handle it much more easily. But when it arrives as juice, syrup, sweetened drinks, or concentrated sweeteners, it bypasses the normal slowing effect of fiber and can hit the liver in a much more aggressive way. And here is the key mechanism. When the liver is repeatedly overwhelmed, it can start converting excess sugar into fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis. That simply means making new fat. The liver takes surplus fuel and packages it as triglycerides, which can then accumulate inside liver cells. Think of it like this. If the liver is asked to process a small, occasional amount, it can usually cope. But if it is hit again and again with liquid fructose, the system gets overloaded. Instead of burning the fuel efficiently, the liver starts storing more of it as fat. Over time, that can contribute to steatosis, the early stage of fatty liver. This is why so many people are shocked when they see that juice, smoothies, agave syrup, and sweetened coffees can be a problem. They sound healthy. They look healthy. But metabolically, they can be very demanding on the liver, especially when they are consumed daily. The danger is not just the sweetness. It is the speed and concentration. That is also why the alcohol comparison is so powerful. Alcohol and fructose are not identical, but they share a similar problem. The liver has to deal with a rapid flood of metabolic burden. In both cases, the liver may be forced to reroute the fuel into fat-making pathways when the input is too much, too fast, and too frequent. So when someone says, "I don't drink, so my liver should be fine," that is not always true. A child drinking apple juice or an adult sipping sweetened drinks throughout the day is still asking the liver to manage a large sugar load. The body may not show it immediately, but the liver feels it over time. Now we need to talk about something crucial. Not all fatty liver is the same. The earliest stage is called steatosis, which simply means fat has started collecting inside the liver cells. At this stage, the liver is often still functioning well, and the condition can be highly reversible if the metabolic drivers are addressed early. This is where so many people miss the window. They feel fine, so they assume nothing serious is happening. But early fatty liver is a warning signal. It is the liver telling you that the incoming fuel load, the insulin burden, and the sugar exposure are too much for healthy metabolism. If the process continues, steatosis can progress into inflammation, and that is where the story becomes more dangerous. When fat accumulation is paired with inflammatory stress, the liver cells begin to struggle more seriously. This is the stage where you do not want to wait and hope it goes away on its own. That inflammatory stage is often described as NASH, or metabolic dysfunction-associated steatohepatitis in the newer terminology. In plain language, it means the liver is no longer just storing fat. It is now under inflammatory stress. That makes it much more important to act early, because ongoing inflammation can increase the risk of long-term injury. And if that process is ignored for too long, the liver may begin laying down scar tissue. That is what cirrhosis is. Not just fat, but permanent scarring and structural change. This is the point where the conversation becomes much more serious, because scar tissue does not behave like healthy liver tissue. But here is the hopeful part. Steatosis is the window of hope. The liver is an extraordinary organ with a remarkable ability to recover when the burden is removed and the right support is in place. If you catch this early, reduce the liquid sugar load, improve insulin sensitivity, and support liver function, the body can begin moving back toward healthier metabolism. Now let's move into the biological support protocol, because once you understand the real problem, the next step is not panic. It is strategy. The first strategy is simple. Reduce the liquid sugar load that is overwhelming the liver, and focus on the fundamentals that actually move fatty liver in the right direction. In clinical practice, weight loss through nutrition and activity is the cornerstone for reducing liver fat, inflammation, and even scarring in people with fatty liver disease. That is why I want to be very careful with the word detox. Your liver already performs the body's natural clearing work. The question is whether you are helping it or burdening it. For most people with early steatosis, the highest value move is to stop feeding the liver frequent liquid fructose and then build habits that improve insulin sensitivity over time. Now, some people ask about supplements. So here is the honest clinical answer. Always consult your doctor before taking new supplements. Especially if you already have elevated liver enzymes, take prescription medication, or have more advanced liver disease. Milk thistle, whose active compound is silymarin, is widely used and is generally well tolerated. But the human evidence for liver disease is still inconsistent and not strong enough to make it a standalone treatment. That is exactly why a premium liver support formula, if someone chooses to use one, should be thought of as an adjunct, not a replacement, for the real metabolic work. In a formula that includes ingredients like silymarin and betaine, the goal is to provide antioxidant and methylation support to liver cells while the person removes the sugar burden that caused the problem in the first place. But I want to be transparent. The evidence for betaine in fatty liver has been mixed, with small studies and reviews showing possible benefit in some settings and no clear benefit in others. So if someone is building a premium liver support protocol, the smartest mindset is this: remove the sugar overload, support the hepatocytes, and monitor progress with your clinician. Supplements may be considered as supportive tools, but they should never be treated like a cure, and they should never delay proper medical evaluation. The goal is not magic. The goal is to give the liver the right environment so it can do what it was designed to do. So here is the final grounding thought. In early fatty liver, the real issue is usually not dietary fat. It is the metabolic burden of excess sugar, especially when it arrives quickly in liquid form. That is why official liver guidance focuses on healthy food choices, physical activity, and weight loss as the core way to reduce liver fat, inflammation, and fibrosis. Even a modest loss of body weight can help reduce liver fat, while greater loss can improve inflammation and fibrosis. That means the path forward is not panic. It is consistency. Stop the juice, stop the syrup-heavy habits, and work with your clinician on the habits that actually move the biology in the right direction. If you are thinking about a supplement blueprint, remember that milk thistle and silymarin have not shown definitive benefits for liver disease in high-quality evidence, so they should be treated as supportive tools at most, not a cure, and not a replacement for medical care. If this message helped you, check the link in the description for the clinical liver support blueprint. And one last time, this video is for education only, not personal medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you have high liver enzymes, suspected MASLD, worsening symptoms, or advanced liver disease, please speak with your gastroenterologist or physician before changing your diet, medications, or supplements.